Welcome to Curry Gumbo, the podcast where Nicole and Ashley discuss Black film and TV. Spike Lee once called She's Gotta Have It his baby, and hasn't it held a darling spot in your heart as well? Before Nola, who had the nerve to show off her 3.5 lovers? I'm counting Opal as a fraction of a lover because the film doesn't give Miss Opal Killstrap access to Nola Darling's infamous loving bed. Here's our discussion of Spike Lee's 1986 film, She's Gotta Have It.
Ships at a distance have every man's wish on board. For some, they come with the tide. For others, they sail forever in the horizon, never out of sight, never landing until the watcher turns his eye away in resignation, his dreams mocked to death by time. That is the life of men. Now, women forget all those things they don't want to remember and remember everything they don't want to forget. The dream is truth. Then act and do things accordingly. Zora Neale Hurston, their eyes were watching God. This is how the movie opens.
Mm-hmm. Janie is a figure who speaks prominently in Nola Darling's life because Janie also had 3 lovers. Not at the same time, but they were also 3 lovers who kind of modeled Nola's lovers. So like Janie had the overbearing husband. She had the pretentious husband. She had kind of the lover who was more street smart. I like starting with Their Eyes Are Watching God because it does feel like Janie is a model for Nola. One of the things that I like about Their Eyes Are Watching God is that the relationship with women is just as important, if not more important, as the relationship with men. So Janie's relationship with her grandmother, Janie's relationship with her best friend Phoebe is very important. That's why I think in the film, I wanted to see more Clorinda. I'm excited that in the show, you get more Clorinda. You get a lot more Clorinda. Nola makes a point to say that she was born the same day as Malcolm X.
Yes, she did. May 19th.
You know who else was born May 19th?
Who?
Grace Jones.
Wow.
So I felt like that was a more fitting
birth. Oh, Grace Jones.
Yes. I was like, I get, I guess the Malcolm X shout out feels more connected to Spike Lee as opposed to Nola. I guess I'm trying to understand like what is it about Malcolm X that Nola connects with?
Yeah, because her art wasn't really political and she didn't seem political.
It just she felt political, like just her existing in this world felt very radical, especially at this time. But I don't know, like I feel like when I think of her, if you gave me 2 people, Malcolm X or Grace Jones, pick one who would be her
Nola.
mentor. I'm like, Grace. Stranger.
Well, this was way before Stranger.
This is way before Stranger.
So let's get to it. Does Nola have an issue? Does she have a problem?
Yeah, she does. She picked the
What's
wrong
her problem?
niggas. She picked the wrong niggas.
The whole movie, I'm like, why are you with any of them?
Any of them.
She seemed, Mars, I get that he makes her laugh, but there were plenty of times when she was annoyed with him.
Yeah.
Greer
was mean.
Every day, I only date fine women.
If you wasn't fine, I wouldn't even bother with you.
Exactly.
Like, bitch, I'm like, you can get the fuck out.
How you turned on by this dude? And then Greer and Jamie seemed the most overbearing. Like they wanted to like possess her, which again would have been a major turnoff for me.
Jamie felt like the entitlement with him was just so deep. It was so,
even with him and Opal, when Opal came, when Nola was
Yeah.
sick and Opal was there with him, and he came over, and Nola was like, "Oh, Opal's been sitting with me all day, checking on me," and Jamie was like, "Oh, well, I'm here now, so you can leave." I'm like, that's how you talk to her friend?
Yeah. It's so inappropriate. You know what was also interesting to me? Jamie, when we meet all of them, Mars is on his bike. He like
Mhm.
runs into the camera. Greer is in his car.
Oh yeah,
Jamie is sitting
Jamie's
at a
sitting on the
bench.
bench.
And so I was like, what does this mean? And like
He's
even his
waiting.
mode of transportation is the bus, is the subway, is like public transportation. And
Yeah.
so I thought that had like, sure, that says something about money. Greer seems to be the more financially successful one. Sure.
Mhm.
I'm gonna that whatever.
He was on the
But
cover of GQ magazine.
yeah, well, he said he was gonna be on the
Yeah.
cover. I'm wondering where these lies. But I'm wondering, like, what does that say about their personality? What does that say about their identity? What does that say about how how they want to be connected to Nola and how they want to be positioned in the world? Like if Mars and Greer have things that move them, like they have modes of transportation. When we meet them, they're moving. When we meet Jamie, he's just
He's
still.
sitting.
Yeah.
Myers and Greer, they was the one that's more likely to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Greer always bringing up all these fine women he can date, and then Mars, he never really wanted. He didn't want a. He didn't want a. He said he didn't want a relationship.
Mhm.
In the beginning, he was like, "Oh, Nola, everyone likes a freak, but that's not the type of woman that you make your wife."
Mhm.
But then I feel like all four characters, including Nola, were very ego driven. I feel like
Mhm.
the men were playing this game as to where let's see who can hold on the longest because I know Nola's going to pick me in the end. So I feel like that was the energy they kind of tolerated. It was like, oh well,
Yeah. Do
Nola's
they
going to pick
even
me.
like her or do they just want to
Yeah, they
win?
just wanted to. Yeah, they just wanted to win. And I feel like Nola, her ego was just in a way of. I felt she had a rebellious attitude.
Mhm.
Meaning I'm grown. If I want to have 3 men, I can.
So
Not
wait,
that.
okay. So do you really think that she was like a polyamorous figure or
No,
no? Really?
I think she had a rebellious attitude.
One of the reasons it was difficult for me to read her as a true poly girl was the fact that you kept picking men
They were
and
trash.
women who wanted monogamy. And my thing is like, even back then, because now everybody is like, I'm poly, I'm poly, I'm poly, I'm
Right.
poly, we poly, But you can find people who are interested in having open relationships. You can find people who are interested in being like 1/3 of your lover. Like you can find that. And I'm thinking, why was she
Why
so
these
interested?
dudes?
Why these dudes who expected monogamy? Why?
Especially Jamie.
Especially Jamie.
Jamie just wanted to, and she said it like jumping to the end when she kind of chose Jamie and she was like, oh, Jamie wanted a wife, but I don't want no man to control me. Because she was saying how not just that he wanted a wife, but he wanted something he can control. And I don't want to be controlled by a man, which is where I feel like her rebellious attitude came from. It was like, I don't want no man thinking he can control me, or I don't want to, be in this position where this man thinks he's over me. I want to be in control of who I am. So again, if I want to have 3 different dudes on a rotation, I can do that, and everyone's gonna, deal with it.
I
She
know
gave
that
me
we're
that type of
gonna
attitude.
I know we're gonna talk about the show at a later time, but do you think that the character Nola in the show is truly polyamorous?
I think the character in the show was more of a free spirit
Mhm.
than this Nola portrayed herself to be. And I don't know if it's because of the era.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know, maybe because I mean, I wasn't grown in '86, so I don't know what grown people were doing or what the atmosphere was.
Yeah. It's also a
But
different place. Like this is Brooklyn. Like
yeah,
I feel like
but
there's a little bit more distance because of that as well. As far as we are concerned, like people growing up in the
yeah, but
South.
Nola on the show, she just seemed more of a free. She seemed Nola on the show is very careless and childlike to me.
Dear God, I'm so excited you said that, and I can't wait to talk about the show because I was like, what the? How old are we? How old are we?
She couldn't pay her rent on time, just very immature.
That I mean,
Couldn't handle nothing.
the rent to me is like, hey, I get it, I get that, but it's like other stuff where I'm like, okay, like being constantly late. I'm like, what the
Oh yeah,
what? And I feel like the Nola in the film, even though Mars has that conversation with Jamie where he's like, it's 50-50 with her. She says she gonna show up, she don't show up. But I'm like, she feels a little bit more mature in the
she
film.
does.
I do get free spirit though, still, even from the first time we see her, because she's rising from bed and her apartment is just so spacious.
It's gorgeous.
It is so wonderful.
It's more like a
And
studio though.
a studio loft type
Yeah.
situation. I mean, her ceilings, if she jumped 20 feet, she wouldn't reach her ceilings.
I
Like
love
they are
the
high.
windows.
And
love the
speaking
windows.
of the windows, all that sunlight is coming in. And she is
Mhm.
rising from bed. And I'm thinking, you a grown woman with your own place, rising from bed during the day. Like, or during a time like that
The
says
sun
to
is
me,
up.
what do you do for a living? Like, what's when you get up, is the sun just completely out? And do you wake up in slow motion, rising up like, no, I gotta
No
get to
alarm
work.
clock.
Nothing. So that feels very freeing to me. Like she does not have a regular 9 to 5 at all.
Yeah, well, more freedom, or I guess flexible. She's flexible with her time.
I think it's
Carefree.
easier to take on some of those free spirit personality traits when you are not bound to a 9 to 5 job.
True.
Maybe.
I just don't buy her being in control of, I don't want to say her sexuality, but just, I'm just not convinced she's as sexually free as she thinks she is.
What does
like, it just seems like her relationships with these men, they're not great. Like what are you getting out of it? Like what do these men really do for you?
Yeah. I get the only one I don't get is Greer.
Yes.
Like he's just so, like, is it only because like
So
he's
pompous.
just beautiful? Like he's gorgeous.
Man, when that man took forever to fold his clothes.
Well, that's the show.
No, on the movie. When he took his clothes off. He took his clothes off and he had to fold his shirt very so neatly and place it on a chair. And then he took his pants and he had to button it back up. And then Noel just sitting in the bed like
I forgot that was in the movie. I think
by this time, like I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Like I'm asleep.
The first person that we see in her bed, in her loving bed, is Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that she says that she loves him.
Mm-hmm.
And he never say it back. And there are multiple times in the film where she's like, I love you, and he don't say it back.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, why are you pulling a Nathan, Jamie? You pulling a Nathan before Nathan done pulled a Nathan. For much of the film, they never appear eye to eye. Even when they're looking in each other's direction. So the first time, I think this is after he reads her the poem, or maybe it's before, she is kind of sitting on his lap and he is looking to his right, which would be at her, and she's looking to her left, which would be at him. But you would think they would be face to face, but because she's sitting in front of him or on top of him, they're not face to face. And there are these other moments in the film where with each of those lovers, she's never like looking directly at them.
Because she don't like him, for real.
One, no one's on the same page.
No.
No one's on the same page. No one is being honest with what they want and what they expect to give and get. Well, maybe they're being honest, but they're not on the same page with it's like, we are going, like, I am going to date all three of y'all. Is you with it or is you ain't?
Well, that's why in my first statement, it feels like this is just an ego game for the men. Mm-hmm. They're just there holding on to see because they think they can win Nola. That's all they're there for.
Much of their conversation when they're with her is about, what do you see in those other guys? Do those other guys do this? Who's that? Who just called you?
It's like energy.
Yeah. Like they never have a moment that's not sullied with the thought of the other lovers.
Or it's more like, I know you're gonna pick me. Like I know I'm the one you're gonna be with. So put them other ones, throw them out the window.
But maybe the film is making a comment on it being very difficult for women to be in like those types of fluid relationships, like maybe it's saying like, I've tried to, like, hey, I'm being honest with them. The reason why I can't find anyone like me is because maybe they don't exist yet. Like I am trying to say to these people, like, I want to date all three of y'all. I don't care if y'all date other women either. But hey, this is what it is. Now, how did you feel about Nola being upset that Jamie was dating the dancer? He hired this dancer to these two dancers for her birthday to perform for her. And it's most of the film is in black and white. This is the only scene that's in full color, is the scene with these two dancers performing for her. One, why do you think that's the only scene in color? And two, why do you think he chose the dancer to date?
I think it's the only scene in color because that's the only time she's like truly happy and enjoying herself. I'm not convinced she's enjoying herself with any of these men. But I think that birthday celebration, she was really excited and happy, and it was a real pleasant surprise for her. And that was the real warm moment for her. Jamie picked the dancer because that's the only other woman he knows.
Now, for you to say that this is one of the only moments where she's truly happy, and for him to pick a woman from the moment where Nola is truly happy feels very
trash.
It feels very messy to me.
Yeah, he's trash.
Because it ain't like Nola is dating his friends. Y'all don't know these cats. Like, y'all don't know each other. But you being real messy. You know that I really enjoyed that. You gonna pick her? That sullied that moment. Trash.
They were all trash.
Did Jamie have a job?
I don't know what Jamie did. Mara said he ain't had no job in 2 years.
He had one.
I'm like, so
Greer's a model.
He just funny. Well, he say well, I guess he a model and he on about to be on the cover of GQ. But again, all these men are garbage. Just like, really, Nola?
How did you
Like,
feel about
really?
Opal? Do you think Opal's garbage?
Opal seemed like a truth. She was a friend. I
Girl.
get that I get that she wanted to cross the line,
Hmm.
but I feel like she was the better choice out of all the other men. Well, she was kind of sneaky too.
Yeah. It's like she
She had her
said
own motives.
she wanted Nola to be open-minded and then
Yeah.
decide. I and it also feels like she got some twisted joy out of making Jamie uncomfortable. But
Yes.
I think that part of that is because
Jamie was rude.
Jamie was just working under this assumption that Nola belonged to him. And I think it was fair for
Yes.
Nola to be like, fair for Opal to be like, no, this is not your girlfriend. I'm not crossing any lines here. This is a woman who is free to date whoever she wants to. So you can't come in here dictating how I'm supposed to move with her.
And they weren't even dating. That was just her friend.
Mm-hmm.
So for Jamie to be nasty to Opal was out of line.
Do you think that Nola keeps Opal around because she wants to be desired?
Yes.
Okay.
She wants men to want her. That's a good point, because she don't like them. She don't like I said, Greer annoyed her. Mars annoyed her. He does make her laugh a little bit, but for the most part, he's annoying. Jamie is just wants to possess her so bad. I feel like it is kind of like an admiration type of thing where she's like, oh, this guy really wants me, so that's why I keep him around. And Nola's interested in her in that way too. So yeah, because I don't see that. I'm not convinced that these are connections. These aren't real connections. Like, I don't get, that's why I keep saying that I'm not convinced that this is like a carefree, like she's free with her sexuality or who she is. It seems more rebellious because these aren't loving or not even like caring relationships. There's no connection. Like, what do they connect on? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like there is just something to do, or she's just doing it because she can, not because she has a genuine connection with these men, or she really likes them, or they give her something that's substantial.
How do you feel about that dream scene she has where the girlfriends of Mars, Greer, and Jamie?
Try to light her bed on fire.
Yeah.
It comes off like it's supposed to be a guilty conscience, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what there's to be guilty about.
And
Maybe
that's,
she,
I feel like that's the point. Like the
yeah,
fact that she shouldn't feel guilty about any of it, but she does because like there's no way for her to kind of escape the traditional mindset that she's only supposed to date one person and everyone else, like, like the messiness of dating someone who's also dating someone else feels corrupt in a way when it sometimes it just doesn't have to be the case. Like she isn't holding these men hostage.
no, she's not holding them hostage, but I don't see the connection. I just don't. Like,
Yeah.
if there was a connection where it's like, oh wow, if there was a movie where it's like you have three amazing guys and you really just don't know what you really like, just like, I like all of them, or all of them fulfill me in different ways, and why choose? Why should I choose? So that type of movie, then I'm like, okay, I get it. But all these men were garbage. There's no real connection. So at the end, well, why do you think she chose Jamie? Because in the end, she gets rid of, well, she breaks up with Mars and Greer and she chooses Jamie.
I think she knows that Mars is not in a place where he can be with anyone.
True.
Greer is way too pretentious. And Jamie does make a case for himself as if he is the most serious about
Suitable.
her.
This movie, it does also feel like Jamie definitely likes her and she likes Jamie, but it's almost like, I don't know, she's kind of playing Jamie as like, well, I like you, you like me, you know, because in the Thanksgiving
oh my gosh,
scene,
the Thanksgiving scene.
That's
Jesus
the only Christ. She's laying in bed with Jamie. They're laying in bed and they're kind of like embraced with each other. That's the only one. And also the other scene where she's in bed and she calls Jamie at night and she's like, oh, I want you to come over. And she spends her birthday with Jamie. And so it's like Jamie seems like the one that she's the most into, but I don't know if she feels like she doesn't, or maybe she's afraid to be in a relationship with him. And she's like, well, I like you, but no, I'm not gonna be with you. I'm just gonna date these other two guys just because.
For Thanksgiving, you invited all three of your lovers. And see,
Bold
this is
move.
why I know you on some bullshit, because you said, I invited all three of you. You are all going to meet sooner or later. How?
Why?
How?
They don't have to meet.
How? How are they going to meet? You know how big New York is? How are they going to meet? I don't even think Greer lives in Brooklyn. How are they going to meet? How are they going to meet? It feels like, what did you want? What did you want from this moment? It feels like, and then like to do it on a day, on a very American holiday, and on a holiday that we most associate with family. I feel like Christmas is a holiday you think about family, but I also think you think about like material stuff because you think about presents, things like that. Like for Thanksgiving, you think of family, you know? So what is this saying about like her intentions, what it is that she wants? This could have been any other day. Like I'm assuming that Mars has family in Brooklyn. I'm assuming that Jamie and Greer have family that they would have also seen. So you are asking people to not be with the people they would have been with on this day to be with you. We could have had a regular meal on a regular Thursday night. Why did it have to be Thanksgiving?
And she could have spent time with her own family. She has a daddy.
Okay, and a mama. She was at work. Mm-hmm. Why did you choose this day? I don't know. It just feels like, baby, you ain't even had the furniture to host,
to accommodate
that
everybody.
many people. It seems like Nola has these expectations of grandeur. Like she understands that, like cooking a Thanksgiving meal by yourself, inviting all of your lovers, hosting them in your even though her apartment is very spacious, you don't have a table that can hold 4 people. You don't even have enough chairs. When y'all are playing Scrabble, you're sitting in an armchair. Mars is sitting on your bed, and then Greer and Jamie have these flimsy chairs. You don't have the space to host these people. And maybe it's that's the, maybe that's a metaphor for how she's thinking about this in her head. Like, I don't even have the capacity to keep everyone in line,
She doesn't.
Yeah. But maybe it's also because like you're expecting these people to, maybe in a way she's expecting monogamous energy from these people, which is very big. Like that's a lot of energy to give to one person. And you're trying to do it with three. That doesn't make sense. I know that typically you want to read Nola Darling as this radical feminist figure, but I think she fails maybe because of her environment. Maybe her environment is making it very difficult for her to live the life that she wants. Or maybe she fails because like she doesn't have the courage to live that life herself. I don't know.
I don't think she knows what she's doing. If she had better men, I would be more convinced, but
Yeah.
But she picks Jamie, and that doesn't last long. She says Jamie wanted a wife and that he really just wanted something to control, which I got from the beginning. They all just wanted to win. They didn't like her.
She picks Jamie. She calls him to come over after she is like pleasuring herself. And there's this moment. And then again, like, I'm like, that's another look back to Their Eyes Are Watching God. And I feel like what is disappointing about that moment is that the fulfillment, like it doesn't seem like she is fulfilled in that moment, and she has to call Jamie to complete the act of pleasure,
which is a problem.
Hell yeah,
as a woman, it's
hell yeah, it is.
You should be so in control that like you don't need Jamie.
So, and that's why I feel like this radical figure that we put on Nola, like maybe she hasn't earned that yet.
And then Jamie comes over and it's not what she expects.
And even she recognizes it as in the line of rape. Like it wasn't like, this doesn't feel all the way consensual, and it doesn't feel loving at all. It doesn't look, sound, it don't feel pleasurable, like none of it. And I'm just like, you're choosing him after all of that. That is when I'm like, okay, now we need the therapy. Before, when people were saying like, oh, she needs help, it's because when Mars says, I think she doesn't have a good relationship with her father, so she needs to see a therapist. And I'm thinking, if she don't have a good relationship with her father, and that's why she's a problem, as you say, why you with her?
Exactly.
Why are you taking advantage of somebody who is not together?
Exactly.
But that's one thing. The other thing is, baby, you needed therapy after you recognize what Jamie did to you as rape. You said near rape, close enough, but you still wanted to be in a relationship with him. You need to go see Dr. Jameson today. Book an appointment. Figure it out, because that moment was like disappointing to me. So I'm happy that she ends the film alone.
Well, back up a little bit, because with that scene with Jamie, he asked, oh, is this how it goes with Mars and Greer? And you kind of get like flashes of them in the same position. Yeah. So it's like, is this your experience? Is this your freedom? Is this experience that you have with all three of these men?
Yeah.
If that's the case, that's a problem.
Very much so. And she decides that she wants to be celibate for a while, even though she wants to be with Jamie. And Jamie have a fucking hissy fit. And I'm like, again, like, what, do you even like this woman?
No.
What? So is her body the only thing you wanted?
Yep.
Jamie's an asshole.
Yes.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with another film and more opinions. Leave a review and tell us what you'd like for us to watch. And let's keep the convo going on Instagram. You can find us at Curry Gumbo. Be well, happy watching, love y'all, bye.